Hello, community. Hope you can hear me. Hello, community. I hope that you can hear me. I hope that my audio. I'm getting feedbacks that my audio is not good. I hope that you can hear me now. Perfect. Thank you for the feedback. Once more, apologies for the technical difficulties. Here we are. Let me start all over again. Welcome, community. Happy Thursday to all of us. Welcome to today's community event. We are always very thrilled to have you here with us today. Apologies for the technical difficulties that we had with the audio. I hope that it's sorted out now. I'm in a new setting, so this is why I had to reset everything. But I hope that we can move on now from here. So happy Thursday to all of us. Welcome for everyone that was able to make it to today's community event. As always, we're very thrilled to have you here with us today. It gives us the opportunity. It gives us now the opportunity to not only discuss and gather together, come together and discuss this blockchain technology and crypto space that we are so passionate and enthusiastic about, but it also gives us the opportunity to share, be on top of current events, and also gives us a platform to shed some light also on our ecosystem as well. Community, if you're tuning in for the first time, feel free to join us on our various platforms. We are a very active community. Also, we also highly encourage you to tune into these sessions that we have. We have daily Zooms, like we hear on YouTube on Thursdays. We also hear on Saturdays and Mondays on Twitter. We're here on Fridays and Sundays for the Queens exclusively, and then we are also on YouTube on Wednesdays as well. So we emphasize highly on being informed and educated because we realize that every time a new technology comes along, which is usually once in a generation, we need to take heed, and there's a lot of potential that come along with it. And this is a time such as that where we can not just be part of something. That's not good enough for us. We want to not just to be part of this new technological revolution, but we also want to in we want to ensure that we are also making a difference and we are part of a solution as well. So, community, before we go too deep into the topic of today, which is blockchain, the original vision, we will really dissect because often we can be sidetracked and miss out on what was and still is actually the purpose of blockchain. Why do we feel that we need this new technology? We find ourselves in a new at the crossroads once more where we really find ourselves in the early 90s where many or most of individuals were questioning and debating the relevancy or the purpose of the internet as a technology. And here we are today once more. The debate still goes on, but now it's no longer the internet, but it's now the blockchain technology. Why is it useful? Is it useful? What is it used for? What is its future? What are the current, where do we stand in terms of the officially or unofficial, depending on how you look at it, the founder of this blockchain technology? What was his or her or their purpose behind it? Are we still aligned with that vision? Have we stepped aside from it? Where are we? Where do we stand as an industry, as a community? Where do we stand in terms of all of that? So all of these questions we're about to all of these sessions we are about to all of these questions we are about to answer on a step by step, and this is what's going to lead us throughout today's session. So, community, before we jump into today's session, we all know what we need to do first, and that is to engage with tweets, right? We have our daily events that we do, and that is to retweet, right? Why is that so relevant? Like we said, that's one, or rather, I should say, part of our bringing awareness, being informed, being educated, and being part of a solution. So we use this Twitter or X as a platform because it has a far reach, and it's also where many crypto enthusiasts find themselves consuming information and news out of. So it's a platform that is far-reaching beyond borders, right? So we want to utilize this platform to be the voice, to serve as a platform where we can voice ourselves and highlight this new blockchain technology that we're so passionate about, and also be unbiased, meaning that with every new technology, there are strengths, there are challenges, and we have to take both of the best of both worlds, right? So we take the good and the bad, meaning that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. The things that work great, let's keep it and keep it going. However, when we identify certain challenges, let's be proactive and be part of a solution, and don't just stop by complaining, but rather go beyond complaining and find solutions. That's how, in compared to the early crypto projects that came out back in the 90s, they are still the market leaders today because that's exactly the approach they took. They took the approach of problem solving, listen to your customers, your clients, identify the challenges, fix them in an efficient and sustainable way, and that's how you become a market leader very early on. It might not seem like it at the very early beginnings, but eventually, once there's clarity in terms of regulation, in terms of maturity of the market, of the industry, all of that will lead eventually to fundamentals, and fundamentals in the long term always win. So, with all of that said, community, those who have not yet, all tweets are out, Killer Whale, Survivor, and Bull Run. So let's engage with these tweets, in case we have not, for those who have not yet, so that we can bring awareness to the industry we are so passionate about, and also highlight our ecosystem and how we are going beyond complaining about the challenges, but rather finding ourselves with solutions using this technology known as the blockchain technology. With all of that said, community, let's jump right into today's session. There's quite a bit to cover. So let's get right to the topic of today. Again, blockchain. What's the original vision of it? We've discussed this many, many times, community. So we won't get too deep into it. We'll spend more time in understanding the here and now, right? The today. But in a nutshell, the crypto industry was supposed to be fully on literally be a solution or an answer rather to the 2008 financial crisis. That's basically what gave birth to the blockchain technology, the distrust of centralized entities, be it institutions or governments. Another thing also was the monetary system that we're in. It wasn't borderless, it wasn't permissionless, it was centralized. And that's another burden. Where there's human interaction, usually there's error as well. And where there is distrust, we've experienced that often, that where there's distrust, there's just no progress, right? There can be corruption, there can be mistakes, and then also manipulations. And we saw all of that during the 2008 housing bubble, where we saw auditing companies being manipulated by the same institutions that were being audited by them. We saw errors. We saw credit rating agencies rating these subprime mortgages as great investments, triple A gradings. But however, in the aftermath, we realized that these subprime mortgages were actually highly risky products, and so on and so forth. So in a nutshell, the blockchain technology was developed to literally remove centralization, independence of centralized entities, strengthen trust, ironically, by replacing trusting individuals with literally smart contracts, or code, I should say, in replacement, and eliminating human interactions or human middlemen, so as to reduce the risks and the mistakes and the chances of manipulations. So that was in its essence the whole idea of blockchain technology, literally a response to a broken financial system that is inflationary, that is debt driven, that in order to stimulate it, it serves as a two-edged sword. By, yes, it brings in liquidity, however, it causes inflation and you lose your purchasing power. And also, we discussed this in detail. The largest and most liquid markets, this is across the board, is the bond market. However, all bond markets are extremely, I should retrace, most bond markets are extremely inflationary, because as a bondholder, you're literally buying the debt of that specific central bank. Now you're holding a fiat, or rather treasuries, bonds of a fiat that is literally keeps piling up on debt and losing its purchasing power as they do so, because due to inflation. So that's what we've been accustomed to so far in our traditional financial space. So now that we're on YouTube, the beautiful thing about YouTube is we can share the screens. So we are going to go through step by step. So we also don't only have theory, but we can visualize it as we see. I believe that a combination of theory and something that we can visualize and see, it sinks in better, right? It goes hand in hand. We humans tend to understand things better if we can both hear it and see it. So let's take advantage of that. Before we do that, I always like to just have a brief overview of the current situation of the market. And let's just look at the market right now. Actually, we actually it's sideways, going sideways. We're up 0.32%. The markets just went through FOMC yesterday on Wednesday, where Jerome Powell he left everything as it is, right? So they're going back and forth with the president, U.S. president to be specific, on who's right, who's wrong, when should the interest rates get cut and when not, just going back and forth. Also with the what's happening between Iran and Israel is intensifying as well. And all of these things are causing, or I should rather say, are triggering emotions, right? And as we know, this industry, and not just the crypto industry, but the financial industry as a whole, is driven by fear or greed, right? And we see here the indicators at 48 right now. Just a few weeks ago, we were at 65 and above. But we see that the moment that the markets become uncertain, geopolitics is triggering emotions out of us, and most investors are really triggered through emotions, be it fear or greed, right? And this is what dictates the market. Really, that's the gist of it. That's what I really want us to take away from this, is because if we're not informed and educated about this new cutting edge technology, we tend to really be swayed easily by the sentiments, the news, the breaking news, the tweets coming from whether politicians, CEOs, or major influencers. We get swayed by these the consumption of these messages, regardless whether they are filled with truth or not, right? It triggers emotions in us. So we encourage to be informed and educated, because it filters out emotions, and we can think rationally and clear and question things. We always encourage the community to have a questioning mind, right? Don't just consume things and take them at their face value, but let's have a mind of a 2-year-old that is inquisitive, it's curious, and we want to get to the bottom of things. We want to ask the question why and understand things. So with that said, let's get right into the session that we want to discuss. Now, a disclaimer, this is just an open discussion. They're my personal opinions. None of this is financial advice. None of this is to say one thing is better or superior than other. It's just, we're just discussing the current state of our monetary system, of our industry, geopolitics, so on and so forth. So with that disclaimer out of the way, let's jump to our first article, right? The first article clearly states that Wall Street launches new ways to bet on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the very first, like we said, Bitcoin and blockchain are synonymously, right? Oftentimes when people talk or hear about crypto, the first thing they know or they'll say is, "Oh, Bitcoin," right? Because it's the first cryptocurrency. It's literally, like we discussed in 2009, the technology that introduced blockchain to the world. And it will always hold that title as the first mover, as literally the rebel, right, that came, or rather was birthed right out of the 2008 financial crisis. But we shouldn't stop there. Again, like today's topic suggests, the original vision. If we should ask ourselves, do we believe that Bitcoin is still on track of the original vision? Before we can answer this question, we first have to understand what was the original vision in the first place. Like we briefly discussed at the very beginning of this session, it was simply birthed out of frustration, right? Birthed out of a necessity, birthed out of a crisis. So it was supposed to be an answer to a crisis, right? And that crisis was intransparency, lack of trust, just unsustainable, inefficient monetary systems, and just decentralization was at the center of all of this. Just literally breaking free from all these censored. With censor, we mean that you have no privacy whatsoever. Everything is being filtered, censored, cookies, and all of that following your every move and being used literally to throw advertisements at you, tailored towards your internet activities, right? So this is, in a nutshell, what the whole idea of blockchain was: bring back trust, have individuals have autonomy over their finances, over their assets, have full autonomy, clear out centralization, bring in decentralization, literally meaning that you interact not with humans that are fallible, that have prone to be influenced or manipulated or bribed, but rather we are dealing with codes, with smart contracts that are you can't manipulate. They execute based on certain inputs that were given to it, right? And this is the new way of doing things. It's faster, more efficient, open, uncensored, and not in need of centralized entities. You can just plug into the system. It's a public ledger. Everybody can verify the transactions publicly on a ledger. It's immutable. Not a single individual can destroy it or manipulate it. So it has so many pros that come along with it as well. So with all of that said, community, the whole idea was that we that are participating in this blockchain community are supposed to have financial autonomy. That's the key word, autonomy, meaning your wallet belongs to you. You don't have to ask any third party intermediaries to have access to your funds, your wallet, your assets. You have access to them Monday to Sunday, 24/7, 365, unlimited, unrestricted, uncensored. That's true decentralization. And it should work on its own strictly by the usage of the community. That's what decentralization is. It's working on its own without centralized influence or interaction with humans, but rather with codes or smart contracts. That's the difference. Now, is that still the case? Do we have a system that is literally independent from centralized entities, intermediaries, governments, institutions, traditional financial institutions? I should be specific. Is that still the case? And can Bitcoin exist without the influence of Wall Street? Can it survive on its own simply by its community members? Does it have the mechanisms that it takes to be sufficient, efficient, self-sufficient? Does it have built-in mechanisms? And the clear answer is no. And this is why many of the Bitcoin developers branched out, and the very first one was Ethereum, right? And then there's Solana, there's Cardano, there is Polkadot. Ironically, all of these blockchains mentioned, there are former Bitcoin developers and there are former Ethereum developers. So if they branched out on their own and seeked new ways to do things, more than just being able to buy and sell and hodl. In order to revolutionize the financial system community, we need to have an alternative, right? What's the alternative? You need to have an alternative to existing lending and borrowing that banks are doing. You need to have an alternative to investment and earning yield. You need to have an alternative to products, financial products. What's that? You need to have an alternative to exchanges so you can trade. You need to have an alternative of liquid assets, of stable assets. And what are alternatives on a platform that is just built to buy and sell and that's it, right? So this is why out of Bitcoin, so many other blockchains were birthed out of it with various different motives and visions, but the core vision stayed the same. At the core, at the center, should be us retailers autonomously having access in a decentralized manner to our assets, autonomously having autonomous decision making capabilities. We can have access to our assets whenever we want, how we want, through our decentralized wallets. So now, the article talks about Wall Street launching ways to bet on Bitcoin. As we know, the best way they did was beginning of the year 2024 in January, where spot Bitcoin ETFs began trading, right? And we saw how they opened door to more mainstream investors, and many products came out of that as well, starting with spot crypto products, and which went live on traditional exchanges such as NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, and the Chicago Mercantile Bank, right? So these are things that, without going too much into details, the takeaway that we need to understand here is that out of a so-called boring commodity, now you are able that you are always only able to buy and hold, right? Now you are able to use this so-called commodity that was always looked at as gold. Now you are able to do way more things, right? And like we said, because it was so boring and you couldn't do anything beyond buy and hold or sell, many developers, right, moved to other blockchains and developed other blockchains, like we discussed earlier as well. And this is exactly where we are today. So just like in the early stages, in the early 90s, there were so many .com web pages, and not all of them succeeded, right? Here we are. There are so many blockchains being launched, and obviously not all of them will succeed, but those who will succeed will be literally winner takes them all, or it will be a duopoly or oligopoly, but it will be just a handful, if even that much, right? So what I wanted us to look at also is this right here. This is interesting. Just to have an idea, is that this Bitcoin ETF that was issued by BlackRock literally hit 70 billion faster than anybody ever hit in the history of ETFs. And Bitcoin ETF literally surpassed that of gold ETF. This is groundbreaking. And to really understand it even more, let's look at the second article. This second article literally just puts in contrast what we've been discussing for the last few minutes. It really puts in contrast what is traditional finance and what is DeFi, right? Decentralized finance. So as we know, we come a long way since 2009. Many things have evolved in 2025. We have a pro-crypto president, pro-crypto administration, and we'll get to the genius bill that was passed. We'll get towards that at the end of the session. We'll cover that as well. But for now, let's stick to many things that have changed. We have a more pro-crypto Security and Exchange Commission. We have many more mainstream adaptation mainly on the institutional side as well. and so many things changed. So this is why the distinction between traditional finance and decentralized finance have even become clearer, right? So decentralized finance, just in a nutshell, relies on, like we said, centralized institutions, right? Monopolies, duopolies, and so on and so forth, and regulatory frameworks, right? Set regulation. However, DeFi, it makes the most out of the blockchain technology itself, right? It's the whole idea why blockchain technology was birthed. And it creates, like we said, it's more open and accessible, and it's a new financial system. This is completely different, like we said, and users, depending on how far along you are in your crypto journey and understanding, DeFi offers brand new opportunities, right? But like with every new thing, there also come challenges known as risks. And usually this is where everything stops, right? So we all just highlight the risks. Oh, it's dangerous, it's this, there's a lot of scammers, whatever the case may be. There's no use case, so on and so forth. However, if you take advantage of these opportunities that are mainly always just viewed and disregarded as risks, and that's where the music stops. If we take that extra step and you really start understanding, okay, what, not just the differences of these two systems, however, you also start looking at these challenges much more clearly and look at them as opportunities and give it your absolute best to find solutions for this, because this industry is around 3 trillion market cap. So you're literally solving a $1 trillion solution. You're solving a challenge that is within a $1 trillion industry. And projections are that's going to be in the tens and hundreds of trillions in the mid to long-term future, right? So it's worth it. It's worth it to look into this. So what are the weaknesses that many are just discussing and just complaining about across the board? It's because, for example, traditional finance relies on intermediaries, like we said, right? Governments, institutions that are usually centralized. And DeFi actually enables a peer-to-peer transaction through smart contracts, right? Without centralized authorities. So it's replacing centralized entities, governments with literally smart contracts through transactions. So traditional finance often involves higher fees, as we know, longer transaction times. It has to be business days, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, in between, closed during holidays, and so on and so forth. However, DeFi platforms are available and operate 24/7, allowing access to financial services and products anytime. This is the difference. They're more efficient, more transparent, no needs of audits because everything is on a global public ledger that everybody can verify, right? Unlike the traditional banks with the set hours, like we said. Another thing is regulation. So in traditional finance, regulation serves as a sense, some sort of a comfort, right? It's a comfort. However, DeFi, who do you go to? Really, like you are literally engaging with smart contracts in DeFi. So right now, as we speak, there's still not the regulatory framework in place. That's why it's still considered a wild, wild west. This is why we have to be very careful, knowledgeable about what we are getting ourselves involved with, right? So in terms of user experience, TradFi is that familiar, something that we're so familiar with, right? However, any new thing, we always tend to fear the new, right? And it requires a level of technological understanding. This is why we stress so much on educating the community. because once we are more familiar with something, we are open to it and we are more willing to understand it. We're more patient with it to understand it. And once we understand something, we can embrace it. That's the whole idea. So, what is the future of TradFi? We're not going to get into all of that, but there will be some sort of a hybrid, right? You can't put away completely with TradFi. It's just not going to happen, especially overnight. So you have to find some sort of a level ground. And this is why you see so many traditional institutions are now merging into blockchain. They're embracing blockchain technology because they understand that not only are more favorable regulatory clarity around cryptocurrencies are shaping right now, but also this new technology is just more efficient. It's just way more efficient. And with increased competition from DeFi platforms, it may make the traditional finance obsolete. The best example is, for example, Yahoo, right? Yahoo was sitting on top of the mountain, dominating everybody else until Google came, right? Until Netflix came, until all these other institutions came. Same thing, if you just too comfortable sitting on top of your horse and thinking that you're just dominating the entire industry, and you don't want to change, you don't want to go with the times, you don't want to listen to the community and make changes or be part of a solution, you just want to go with the status quo, you'll be left behind. So this is another thing. With regulatory clarity, this, of course, will lead to that hybrid to that soft spot between existing financial institutions embracing DeFi and issuing, or rather, issuing financial products that we mainly know, such as stablecoins, real world assets, tokenized assets, and so on and so forth. So we don't want to spend too much time on this. One thing I just want to highlight once more is this right here, that BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF became the fastest ever ETF to accumulate 70 billion US dollars. And it achieved that in a few months, just within a few months, not even a full year. So BlackRock's iShare Bitcoin Trust, also known as IBIT, which currently is the largest Bitcoin, not just the largest Bitcoin exchange ETF in the market, but it also is the largest ever in the history ETF. So it has attracted, like we say, 70 billion in total assets more quickly than any other ETF, like we say. Why is this so significant? Why is this such a major milestone? Again, this is a new technology, keep in mind, and this technology is an asset at the same time. So for the first time, you can now invest in a technology because that technology is an asset. But now, if you have an asset that is a technology, but it's limited to just buy and hold, this is why the expansion of this technology is so important. And if you're just comfortable being leading them by market cap of over 60% market cap, like Bitcoin is doing, you can easily be very comfortable, right? And be like, oh, let's just stick with the status quo. Let's just stick to what we've been doing. We are way ahead of everybody else. We have the name recognition. We have the largest ETF. And what else can happen, right? All the liquidity is coming to Bitcoin, and we are winning, right? So that's where the danger lies. And you want to be able to, if you claim you want to replace the current monetary system, you need to offer alternatives in investment products, alternative in industries, various industries, like we said. Like, for example, Ethereum is like the new application layer where real estate can be tokenized, where stocks can be tokenized, where fiat currencies can be tokenized and looked at stable coins. where treasury bonds can be tokenized like BIDL, and we could go on and on. We get the idea. So you want to offer trading exchanges. You want to be able to have decentralized exchanges. You want to be able to offer yield earning, like staking and earn yield, while you're offering security and stability, because that's what staking is about. You're literally part of providing security and stability. And another thing also that we need to understand that is great with this is that it's not just about having the fastest growing ETF, but it's more importantly is what's your growth potential? What else are you offering? And how are you being part of the solution of this new financial system, financial digital system? You need to offer alternative to the traditional financial system because they have various products, options tradings, all these various products, financial products. They have large exchanges like the New York Stock Exchange and Mercantile, Chicago Mercantile Exchange. They also have NASDAQ and so on and so forth. However, the difference with decentralized exchanges, once more, is that it's open for everyone. It's not limited to a certain geographic region. It's not limited to business hours or holidays and so on and so forth. And this is just the takeaway I want us to look at here is that the first blockchain that is an asset and a technology at the same time made it to become the largest ETF within a few months in the history of ETFs. So that alone shows you the appetite for this new technology. And like we said, out of Bitcoin came so many other blockchains because these developers, which were former Bitcoin developers, identified that in order for us to live up to the dream, to the vision, to the potential, full potential of this technology, we have to find alternatives, or rather develop alternatives to make this technology mainstream. Why should somebody leave traditional finance and come to DeFi? What's the alternative? What's the interesting thing that an individual should come and use blockchain for? What's the use case? What's the utility? What's in it? What's in it for me, right? With me, I mean you, everybody that wants to participate in this industry. So, with all of that said, community, and here we see that it grew 5 times faster than the old record held by gold. Gold was the one that really was breaking all these records until Bitcoin came in. So again, it was less than a year. A year is 365, right? So within 341 days after it was launched, it hit that milestone of 70 billion assets under management. It took gold 1,691 days. So 5 times more, right? So this is just a takeaway I want us to have. Now, let's start looking at some articles by one of those developers that we talked about, right? So one of the co-founders of Ethereum is Joseph Lubin, a very interesting individual. And we'll see why. So this is a tweet that he put out literally today. And this is, like we say, Joseph Lubin is an Ethereum co-founder, right? One of the core developers of Ethereum. And he was talking about how Ethereum layer 1 is the future and the master ledger of the world, right? I always like to question things. I always like to be critical when we read statements like this, right? Because everybody has an opinion and everybody can claim things, but can we verify this? Is this something that we can verify? Is there some truth behind this? That's what matters, right? So he further says here, let me bring this up. So Ethereum layer one will be the master ledger for the world, right? Of course, you will say, oh, of course he says that. He's the co-founder of Ethereum. He has to say that, right? He has to, hype Ethereum. But now, what he's saying is that the reason why he's saying that is because Ethereum is permissionless to inspect, like we just discussed, to use and to add data and functionality to. It's literally, what does permissionless mean? There is no intermediary. Like on Ethereum, you can go to Uniswap with your DeFi wallet and just start trading random tokens that you're interested in. You don't need no permission. That's what permissionless means. Credibly neutral. That's exactly what decentralized is about. It doesn't belong to a certain jurisdiction. It doesn't belong to a certain group of individuals. You don't have to belong to certain or meet certain requirements. You can just plug in your DeFi wallet and be part of this public blockchain that is neutral, right? There's no censorship, like it's not censorship resistant. You're not blocked because, oh, you can't watch this content or you can't be part of this because you're not from a certain specific region, or you're turned away from participating in this economy because you come from a certain region. None of that is happening. So it's pure censorship resistant as well. So without getting too much into this, the whole idea is that let's verify these facts. Are these facts? And who is this individual? Besides being the co-founder of Ethereum, we had this headline, right? This SharpLink is a gaming company, and let's be fair, it's a micro company that is listed, right? Listed on Nasdaq. So they're obviously, like the name suggests, they are sports betting and a gaming company. And they barely have $500 million in market cap. So they're very small. And nonetheless, the idea here is that they are the very first Nasdaq listed company that is literally using Ethereum as their treasury strategy. And they already put in on June 2nd, 2025, they already invested over 425 million in Ethereum and purchased over 170,000 ETH, right? Now, what I need us to understand is that what makes this so interesting is that this same Joseph Lubin is also the Consensus software. He's the founder of Consensus. Consensus is the parent company of MetaMask. So this individual, Joseph Lubin, is not only a co-founder of a blockchain Ethereum, but he's also the founder of Consensus, which is the parent company that developed MetaMask. Now, let's look at what role that this individual is playing, Joseph Lubin. Here he is again. He's the chairman of this company that is listed on NASDAQ. He calls the shots, right? So the individual that is saying that Ethereum is getting ready to be the global ledger, that is the founder of Ethereum and Consensus and MetaMask, and now is the chair of a NASDAQ listed company that's invested almost $500 million in Ethereum, and 95% of that is already staked, and they're literally earning 10 million more US dollars, more than what they did the previous 2 years, simply by just staking ETH and earning the passive income from Ethereum. So now they understand that this is a technology that you can build applications on top. And this technology that you can build applications on top happens to address the challenges in TradFi, in traditional finance. What are those challenges? Inflation, for one. Ethereum, ironically, is more deflationary than Bitcoin is. That doesn't make it better or worse. That's just a fact, right? We're just looking at facts. So many like to claim, oh yeah, Bitcoin has only 21 billion and da, 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 da. However, if you look at inflation, Bitcoin is more inflationary than Ethereum. And the irony of this is that Bitcoin is more mature. It has, in terms of comparison, it's more liquid, right? And you see the ETFs alone. It's the largest ETF in the world. It hit there in less than a year. It hit 70 billion. So we could go on and on and on. It's the most recognized cryptocurrency. It gets a green light to do anything it wants. However, if you look at Ethereum, there is still no stablecoin clarity. There's still no staking enabled on ETFs. There is still no real-world assets, tokenized assets enabled on it, right? And there's still many patented financial products, blockchain products that are still didn't get the green light yet to launch on Ethereum due to lack of clarity. So there's so much growth still ahead of us for those that are developing on Ethereum or for the Ethereum community. This is not to say one blockchain is better than the other. This is just to identify and clarify that one has everything enabled already, and it's the largest ETF. And keep in mind, what's today's topic? Today's topic, community, is simply what's the original vision? Which blockchain can exist on its own without being led by Wall Street's ETFs, right? Or without pumped by institutions that are completely centralized, right? So this is the question we should ask ourselves. And decentralization opens doors for everyone, not just Wall Street, right? But it's open doors for everyone, whether you're a developer and you're an entrepreneur and you want to develop applications on top of Ethereum, and it's open for all these various assets, like we said, real estate, stocks, commodities, bonds, treasuries, and so on and so many more. Majority of these are all on Ethereum, as we're about to see. So now that we understand this individual, who this individual is, let's move on to another article. This article is from one of the largest banks in the world, Citibank, right? Or Citigroup. So they're also pushing stablecoins as usual. So there is a rumor right now going around that JP Morgan, Bank of America, and Citigroup, they want to come up with a stablecoin that they all using. As a matter of fact, just a few days ago, this week actually, JP Morgan came up with tokenized deposits, right? A deposit token, which literally is that their clients, whenever they deposit fiat to their accounts, they literally receive these deposit tokens, and they launched it on the layer 2 blockchain base on Ethereum, right? Ethereum layer 2 base is on the Ethereum blockchain, right? And it serves as a layer 2. So why are we discussing this and distinguishing this? Let's look at this. It's because crypto is becoming mainstream and part of our daily lives, right? Part of our economy, whether we like it or not, whether we embrace it or not. The fact is stable coins are expanding beyond just trading, but they're literally becoming part of our everyday life. And the banks that we are banking with in the traditional finance are literally embracing it, right? So the takeaway I want to look at here is the projection. Right now, Tether and USDC have a combined around 240 billion in market cap. The projection that Citibank is doing, or Citigroup, is that it has the potential to grow by up to 1.6 trillion just in the next 5 years. So what's the jump if for those that are really good at math, right? So how many x's do you get from 240 billion to 1.6, right? How much does it take, right? So that's around 6 times. So that just shows you how much liquidity that is getting ready to come in, because who brings in liquidity? Traditional banks. And these traditional banks, through regulatory clarity, are getting ready to be green lighted to issue their own stable coins. And they'll be able to issue their own stable coins and use their own tokenized deposits so that they can produce products to bring more liquidity into the markets. And as they do so, they are required to purchase US bonds. When all these institutions are buying US bonds, it brings down the interest rate of US bonds. That means our mortgages are cheaper, our credit cards interests are cheaper, easy access to money, and more money is being printed. So this just shows you that stablecoin regulation is key to bringing interest rates down on the bond market, making access to liquidity cheaper. Access to mortgages are cheaper, to loans are cheaper, and our credit card bills, minimum payments every month are cheaper as well. So let's keep that in mind. Now, another thing that I want us to look at, like we said here, is that they go beyond and say the market could even balloon to 3.8 or 3.7 trillion. So these are just speculations, of course, but this is not some random bank. This is one of the top 3 largest banks in the US, right? And also, like it says here, stable coins could be the cash leg for tokenized financial assets for small or medium enterprises, right? Or even large enterprises as well. So we see and we understand that that's the future. However, if we go further and understand what are we talking about here? The best example of a hybrid financial product is Biddle. Biddle is a very unique financial product made by BlackRock. And what makes Biddle so interesting is because it's a stable coin. However, it's also a tokenized treasury bill at the same time. And it's issuing literally interest, like you're earning yield. So when you hold this Biddle token, you're literally earning USDC and you get it paid out every month. Because Biddle token is a stable coin, it's required to purchase treasuries. Because it purchases treasuries, it brings down the interest rate and it brings demand for the bond market and it stabilizes the dollar. And the more individuals or institutions invest in Biddle or purchase Biddle, the more they are getting they're earning, the more they're earning. And Biddle has partnered with the likes of Kraken, Binance, Coinbase, and even Aave, a decentralized application, so that you can use Biddle as collateral and borrow against it. So these are the type of financial products that we are talking about that are just at the very early stages of this technology that can be used. And this is what we meant with the hybrid, because BlackRock is a traditional financial institution. However, it's using its traditional financial products in DeFi as well. So it's opening doors for very liquid institutions and very high net worth individuals to use their traditional products in DeFi as collateral. So bringing even more liquidity into DeFi. And the irony is where Biddle is launched. Where is it? It's on Ethereum predominantly. Like literally 95% of Biddle is on Ethereum predominantly. That's the whole point. You look at where these assets are, And if we look at stablecoins in general, we see that again, over 50% is on Ethereum here as well. If we look at treasuries, like we just looked at BIDL, we see that the same, over 75% is on Ethereum. Let's look at commodities, right? Commodities is even a clearer picture. 99% is on Ethereum. We could go on and on, but I believe you get the idea. The idea here is that the message that we want to bring across is that the original purpose and vision of blockchain was not just to buy and hold, but to develop products that are interesting, products that are very sought after in the traditional markets, like we say, such as BIDL, right? By BlackRock, the largest asset manager. And those products are predominantly issued on the Ethereum blockchain, whether it's tokenized fiat, like stablecoins. They're predominantly right here on Ethereum as well. What does that tell us? Follow where the liquidity goes. Always follow the money. And if you see a trend where large institutions, traditional financial institutions, are investing hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in building infrastructures or platforms on certain blockchains, like we said, in technology, it's very cutthroat. It's usually winner takes it all because it's very expensive to build infrastructures. And if you see BlackRock building infrastructures on Ethereum, if you see Visa, MasterCard spending hundreds of millions of dollars to build infrastructures on Ethereum, if you see UBS, the Swiss government, building infrastructures on Ethereum, it tells us something. So Ethereum is being heavily used by institutions because it's neutral, it's decentralized, it's not limited to certain geographic regions. No country claims Ethereum, right? Like, for example, right now, the US is the first and literally country that placed Bitcoin as a reserve strategy, right? So if you're a competitor, why would you want to also do that? And you also see that certain companies are already heavily invested in Bitcoin. And the thing with Bitcoin is the only way to cash in is you have to sell it. You have to sell it, right? However, the new technology, a new asset, for example, Ethereum, you don't have to sell it. As a matter of fact, the more adopted it gets, the more volume it gets, the more deflationary it gets, and the most staking rewards it gives you. So you can literally use the staking rewards for that. And Queen Debbie and Queen Val had a beautiful session just yesterday on YouTube explaining the impacts of compounding. So in case you missed that, I highly encourage you to really understand what compounding is all about and how it's also viewed as the eighth wonder of the world. So those who have not yet watched that video, I highly encourage you to go to Queen Val's YouTube channel to watch her and Queen Debbie breaking down on the impact of compounding and how our ecosystem is literally built to enable or facilitate that in the most efficient way possible. But back to today's session, community. What we need to take away from this is that the origin vision of blockchain remains the same. You want to be in a platform that is not censored, meaning everybody can participate. It's not limited to certain individuals at certain times of the day or the week or the year, limited to business hours, to holidays. It's open. It doesn't need intermediaries, agencies, governments to give us permission. It's permissionless access. And also, it's an open ledger. Everyone can verify transactions, and we have no private data out there, but rather you just see numbers and that's it, right? There's no data about us out there. So it's private, it's it's immutable, it's permissionless, right? Nobody can get you or keep you out of being part of this because you don't interact with agencies, with governments, but rather you interact with smart contracts directly. So, with all of this said, let's understand one more thing. Staking plays a major role, right? And staking is important because it stabilizes. First of all, it stabilizes the ecosystem. And secondly, it also secures the system. So the more staked a token is, the more stable it is. And the more staked it is, the more secure it is as well. So imagine having a secure and stable token simply by the community believing in it so much so. And while the stakers are staking, the traders are trading, and the supply shrinks, the staking rewards keep coming in, and all of that without causing inflation. This is the challenge. This is the solution to the challenge that central banks are facing. You have a technology that you can invest in as an asset. And the more it's used, it doesn't hit the peak like we discussed in our last community event. It doesn't hit a peak and then it starts going down, but rather it keeps accelerating. The more it's adopted, the more developers and entrepreneurs build applications on top of it. Imagine back in the early 90s when you were able, if you were able to invest in the internet. Imagine the internet being an asset that you can invest in. And the more companies like Google, Microsoft, Nvidia, Apple, Facebook being built on top of the internet, the more valuable the internet becomes. That wasn't the case in the 90s because internet is not an asset you can invest in, but rather the applications built on top of the internet are the assets. But now with Ethereum being the largest smart contract blockchain, the Ethereum itself is both a technology and an asset you can invest in. And if you want to make it stable and secure, you're being rewarded with deflationary fresh liquidity that is more deflationary than Bitcoin itself. And that doesn't make Ethereum better or worse than Bitcoin. It's just an observation, it's just a fact, right? And this is the difference, that you want to be part of an ecosystem that is different from the traditional system. First, secondly, you want to be part of an ecosystem that can literally function on its own without ETFs, without the influence of governments, without having to require permission from intermediaries and third parties participant, but rather anyone can participate. Anyone with a decentralized wallet has autonomy over their own assets, can build permissionless applications that everyone around the world at any given time, irregardless of their geographic time or region, they can participate. That's the difference. You can do more. You have more options, more alternatives to the traditional finance that we have. You can trade, you can stake and earn yield. You can use your assets as collateral and borrow or lend it. You can do all of these things that you can do in the traditional market. If you can't offer that, what any alternatives, why should someone leave traditional financial products for the blockchain? That's where Ethereum comes in. Another thing that is beautiful as well is the security part, right? Imagine being BlackRock. What do you think are they going to pick? A blockchain with a thriving developer, developing community that are developing beautiful products that are challenging, or rather rivaling traditional finance, first of all. Secondly, that's where all the liquidity comes in. This new asset offers tokenization, stable coins, real world assets, and of the stocks, of commodities, of bonds, right? And so on and so forth. And these are the beginning. All these financial institutions, they've hit their peak. They've had the best days behind them. So they're in search of new assets, new ways to to generate new products, make all-time highs. And the only new and fresh asset that is also a technology right now is blockchain. And this is why blockchain right now is the place to be right now in finance. And you don't just want to be part of it, but you want to be part of an ecosystem that is focusing on not just being in it, in the industry, but understanding it first of all, and identifying the opportunities that the challenges within this industry are offering us, and then find solutions for them, and then educate about it. And this is what we're all about in this industry. So another thing I want us to look at is that staked Ethereum is at all-time high. And this is impressive because keep in mind, Ethereum staking just started a few years back. And it's already almost actually it's surpassed 30% right now, right? So 30% of current circulating supply of Ethereum is being staked. Now keep in mind, this means that the higher this number goes, the more stable Ethereum gets. And if you have a stable currency that is not volatile, digital currency that is not volatile, and that you can stake and gives you 3% yield, that is now you're having an asset that is deflationary, stable, and gives you fresh liquidity without causing inflation. Now you're in the same level with bonds. The challenges with bonds are they are based on fiat. Fiat is based on a debt-driven monetary system, which causes inflation every time you mint new fiat, or you print new fiat rather. You cause major things. First of all, you cause inflation. You cause loss of purchasing power. And thirdly and finally, you raise your debt ceiling. None of those three options are any good and any sustainable or efficient. Rather, it makes that system vulnerable. So with Ethereum coming up with a whole new concept that you are a new monetary system, a currency, digital currency that literally brings out fresh liquidity through staking rewards, however, in a deflationary manner, without causing inflation or having to raise your debt ceiling or causing loss of purchasing power. It's an alternative to the traditional bond market. And because large asset managers and financial institutions are seeing this coming, they are heavily invested in stablecoins because stablecoin issuers are required to purchase bonds. And the more bonds are being purchased, the more the interest rates go down. The more interest rates go down, the easier is the access to liquidity. The easier that there's access to liquidity, the more mortgages will be put out. The more loans are being lent out to businesses, for example. And the more we can even cap the credit cards because the monthly minimum payments are just lower. What does that mean? You stimulate the economy now. However, because you're stimulating the economy through adaptation of stablecoins and also through the usage of Ethereum as a platform and an asset, which gives you fresh new liquidity without having or causing inflation, now you have an alternative. And no other blockchain layer one is literally offering that alternative right now, because every other blockchain right now is causing more inflation. It's just part of the challenge, part of the problem, and not part of the solution. And these new institutions are out there looking for applications, blockchains, financial products, staking platforms that are actually part of the solution. You want to stake a token that is at least deflationary like Ethereum is. But if you take it a notch up and you have a staking platform that is actually having a scarce supply, that's the ultimate staking platform. That's like the cream of the cream. You want a staking platform that is scarce, that has scarce supply. Its supply keeps shrinking. The more it's traded, the scarcer it gets, but that's not enough. You want a staking platform that is also retaining liquidity. The more traders are trading, the more liquid it becomes. That's not enough. You want a staking platform that becomes scarcer, becomes more liquid, and accumulates even more USDC for the stakers. But that's not enough either. You want a staking platform that is scarce, retains liquidity, accumulates USDC, and uses its volume efficiently. Now we are talking. Now you're making the best out of this technology. And this is exactly how we're getting ready to close out this session today. No longer are stablecoins just a niche. They are literally a utility. So if you have crypto products, crypto platform that some way, shape, or form is integrated with stablecoins, that will be the new super app, right? Either you issue directly stablecoins, or you have staking platforms that literally are issuing stablecoins. So this is the new fight, or rather the new product that both mainstream institutions and new up-and-coming crypto products will be all about. Staking platforms, stable coins, real-world asset, tokenized assets. BUIDL is the best example. It's two in one. It's both a stable coin pegged to the US dollar, required to purchase US debts. Secondly, it's also a yield-bearing asset as well, which is a tokenized treasury, US treasury. So, and also thirdly, you can use that yield-bearing tokenized assets as collateral for your DeFi lending. This is the ultimate asset, and it's 99% on Ethereum. And it's partnered with the largest exchange, centralized exchange, Binance. It's partnered with the second largest exchange, Kraken. It's partnered with Coinbase, and it's paired with USDC stablecoin. Let that sink in. So these are things that when we look and understand and we ask ourselves, what's the purpose and vision of blockchain? It's supposed to give us autonomy. It's supposed to be free from the influence of third parties and intermediaries. It's supposed to be, we're supposed to have autonomy over our assets, but you don't have autonomy over ETFs. So regardless of being the number one greatest ETF, that's actually something we shouldn't be proud of. If you really understand what blockchain is about, you will not be proud of being the largest ETF, because ETFs are papers. ETF holders don't hold the asset Bitcoin. That just shows you that the Bitcoin is centralized and mainly held by JP Morgan. They're the owners of all that because they're the APs, the authorized participants. Many people don't understand that. You should be proud of being the largest ETF, because that just shows you that the largest Bitcoin holders are holding paper Bitcoin. They're not holding the real deal, making Bitcoin a centralized coin because it's held predominantly by a handful of institutions, namely ETF market leader BlackRock, JP Morgan, and MicroStrategy. But that's not the vision and purpose of blockchain. Its purpose was that it's permissionless, it's held, the real asset, held and by the people, retailers, you and I, and that you have access to it and its liquidity in a decentralized manner. But right now, if you want liquid Bitcoin, the only place to go is to ETFs, paper Bitcoin. That's nothing to be proud of. And this is why we say that Bitcoin on its own is not liquid. Bitcoin on its own is not sustainable due to that. But it needs Wall Street to be liquid through ETFs. It needs Wall Street to be relevant, right? To be mainstream. However, the difference between that and Ethereum is that Ethereum is, like Joseph Lubin said, it's literally a neutral technology, not dominated by Wall Street, but used by Wall Street. That's the difference. Wall Street needs Ethereum to be more efficient, to be on a public ledger, to be part of this smart contract, new blockchain technology. But it can thrive without them through the decentralized applications such as Aave, Uniswap, and staking platforms such as ours and tokenized assets, stablecoins. They're predominantly on Ethereum. They don't need Wall Street there. Before Wall Street was here, Tether was already dominating and being the most liquid and largest US Treasury holder. So this is exactly what we want to look at here. This is how we are closing. The Senate has passed the Genius stablecoin bill like we just discussed. And this already puts crypto industry at a very good situation. And it also puts the US in a very good situation. We had that US president tweeting on his personal, private social platform, Truth Media, that he can't wait. Like the Senate, the House should pass this bill already and give it to put it to his desk. He wants to sign it off because it will put opposition, the US, as the ultimate dominating country in the entire world. And we might have our different opinions about US President, Donald Trump. However, in this regard, he's absolutely right. With the US dominating the stablecoin, the digital asset industry, and stablecoins being predominantly denominated in US dollars, and with major financial institutions that are US based, American based, like Visa, MasterCard, JP Morgan, BlackRock, just to name a few, they're all market leaders in their respective industries, and they all have infrastructures and spent hundreds of millions, if not billions, in infrastructures building on Ethereum. And now we hear such institutions such as Apple, such as Microsoft, such as Amazon and Walmart wanting to also join in the ranks of stablecoins, also issuing them, of course, on Ethereum as well, being onboarded by Visa and MasterCard. So community, this is what we need to understand, is that we are here. The real regulatory clarity have been passed. The sitting president is waiting to sign it off. It already went through the Senate, which is the toughest to go through. The House has previously waved it through already. So it's just a matter of when it's happening, not if it happens. And this is going to put us, the crypto enthusiasts, in a very favorable situation, and specifically those that are already into a smart contract blockchain, and those who have the proof of stake consensus as well. Because you need to incentivize individuals to bring security and stability And this concept is so brilliant because the more people are embracing this technology, that means the more secure and the more stable Ethereum is going to get. And you incentivize them, they're not doing it for free either. And they're receiving assets that is a technology and that is deflationary. And that brings you fresh liquidity without causing inflation. This is the perfect strategic asset. And this is why Joseph Labine made this statement here. Many didn't get it. Many label him, oh, he's an enthusiast, he's just a Ethereum maxi. Of course, he has to say that. However, they're missing the point that he is putting his money where his mouth is. And he is literally started with this company right here, known as SharpLink. He's the chairman of that company. He puts his reputation and money where his mouth is. And he's literally turning this company that is barely at a $500 million market cap. It's a micro stock traded on NASDAQ. However, just as large as their market cap is, that's how much the value of the Ethereum is. So literally, they're almost at 100%, 1-to-1. The market cap is also the value of the current Ethereum strategy. And the difference here is that they could even stop right here and never have to buy any more ETH. But for the rest of the lifespan of the company, they'll be earning 3% on the 425 million every year. And that's roughly 13 to 14 million. That's 10 million more than what they're earning right now in the previous 2 years. So this shows you that literally Ethereum strategy is they're earning yield on an asset that is deflationary, that is a technology, and that is the future of strategic assets, because it's the solution to the current challenges that central banks are facing. If you want fresh liquidity, you have to print more. And if you print, you raising your debt ceiling, you causing inflation and loss of purchasing power. However, if you use Ethereum as your strategic reserve, you only have to buy it one time, stake it, and you have passive income for the rest of the lifespan of your company or your central bank without causing any inflation while producing or providing, injecting fresh liquidity into the market. The moment people have that aha moment and understand the impact of Ethereum and understand that this is beyond hype, wishful thinking, and being a maxi, but rather it's just the truth of the financial system. And those who understand how monetary system works, they see this as clear as daylight, and they're going all in on this. This is why you see BlackRock going all in on Ethereum, the Swiss government, UBS, Visa, MasterCard. Why do you think all of these major institutions, market leaders are going all in on Ethereum? It's not a coincidence. It's not because they're maxis. It's because they understand. They're into finance. They understand financial products. They understand that there's no future in just hype and price go up, but you need fundamentals. That's what this is all about, community. So with all of that said, community, this is it on our side. Let's come back to the comments and close out that way. Appreciate all these comments that were put out. Let's go through them one by one. So before we get this, really want to emphasize that this technology should be really embraced and looked at for what it really is. It's both an asset and a technology. The earlier you embrace it and understand it and put in time and invest time to understand it, the better it is for us, because there's no stopping it. This is the future. So let's embrace it. Let's be part of it. Let's see it for what it really is. Queen Aloshi says here, Awesome. Another great moment of learning. For sure, Dev Steve never disappoints. Massive crypto knowledge we get there. We get here. Thanks, Dev Steve and Mama Winner for this blessing. We appreciate you so much, Queen Aloshi, for always being consistent, always participating, um, always participating in these events. So we really appreciate you very much, Queen Aloshi, for always being a regular, never missing any event and always being part of these. Then we have Queen Tabitha says, here, waiting to learn from our developer, King Steve. I hope that you're able to take away something from today's session, Queen Tabitha. Likewise, we appreciate you very, very much, and we are glad that you were able to make it and took your time to be part of this session today. Then we have none other than Queen Lati saying, greetings, Boran family. It's that opportunity again, community, where we fasten our seatbelts and our coach operator drives us in this journey of blockchain technology. Then the original vision comes. Queen Lati says, Father, that take us take us on our Boron ecosystem coach operator, King Steve. May you and Queen Mother stay blessed for answering to this call as the Boron ecosystem family is now educated when it comes to crypto. Thank you so much, Queen Lati. You are very much appreciated. We appreciate your efforts, your consistency, your leadership, your great energy that is very contagious. We appreciate you very, very much, Queen Lati. And I hope that we were able to take away something from today's session. Then we have the amazing Queen Debbie says, can't wait for this amazing learning session. Greetings, community. Greetings, Brother Steve, and our beautiful Queen Mother Wino. Greetings back to you too, Queen Debbie. We want to appreciate you very, very much, along with Queen Val as well, for an amazing session you had yesterday, educating us about the impact of compounding and how to use it efficiently, and how our ecosystem is literally developed to maximize the effects of compounding. We appreciate you very, very much. We have Queen Beatrice saying, good evening, Bowen community, evening, Queen Mother, and our Professor, Brother Steve. Thank you for consistently keeping us educated, informed, and inspired about the blockchain industry. Be blessed. May you also be blessed, Queen Beatrice. We appreciate you for always being consistent, participating in these community events. Your guidance as well. Very much appreciated, Queen Beatrice. Then we have no one else than Queen Val herself saying hello and happy Thursday to all of us. Bull runners can't wait to hear from our developer. Greetings to our Queen Mother Wino. Thank you for your for consistently informing and enlightening the community. Father, greetings back to you too, Queen Val. I hope you and yours are doing great as well. We appreciate you very, very much. Like we discussed, you and Queen Debbie yesterday held an amazing session. Community, I highly encourage us to, the least we can do is engage with that video. Let's put the word out there. Those who have not subscribed to the channel, YouTube channel of Queen Val yet, let's all run there and do that ASAP. Let's listen, tune in to the message that Queen Val and Debbie put out with so much info yesterday. Let's engage with it. Let's ensure that we trigger the algorithm and it reaches as many people as possible. Queen Val further puts down the link to the Telegram groups of Boron here for the new members, and also for the survivor is here as well, and so is the Killerway link as well. So we appreciate this very much. And thank you for the feedbacks that you gave me. Once more, I apologize for the technical difficulties that we experienced at the beginning, and I appreciate your response. Queen Patricia says, good evening, family, and good evening, Mr. Steve and Mama Wino. Thank you, Mr. Steve, for coming back again to enrich us. Stay protected and blessed. Thank you so much, Queen Patricia. You're very, very much appreciated. I hope you and yours are doing great. I'm sure that you're following the Club World Cup. I'm eager to know who's your club that you're supporting. Let us know. Let us know so we can know whether your team is doing great. Queen Beatrice father says having network challenges, no audio. Absolutely. This was the challenge that we had at the very beginning. I'm glad that we were able to sort it out. Queen Grace says it's another beautiful day to understand. Thank you very much, Queen Grace. You're very, very much appreciated. We always pleased and thrilled to see you in the community. We appreciate your consistency and your leadership as well. Queen Corsi says, greetings, poor and family. Thanks to Mama Wina and Brother Steve. Thank you for yet another session of education, inspiration, and empowerment. We appreciate you just as much for always being present, participating, empowering the community with your presence and your positive, contagious energy as well. We have Queen Mangai says, good morning, family. We are back to come and hear the best from our Moses. Hope to hear much about the regulations. Thank you all for your blessings. We appreciate you so much, Queen, and we hope that you're able to take away something from today's session. There are so many things happening right now at the same time. That are directly or indirectly affecting us as an industry as well. That we have to keep our ears always on the floor, on the ground, to really be on top of the news. And I hope that today's session at least sheds some light of some current events that are taking place right now. None other than great brother and great king Theo says, greetings and happy Thursday, my great brother Steve, dearest great Queen Mama Wino, and my beautiful VRL family. Excited to go back in time to hear all about the original vision of blockchain. Let's go. We appreciate you very much, great brother Theo. Hope you and yours are doing great and are in good health. Your presence is always very welcome, and we are humbled to have you here with us. We appreciate your feedback and your participation consistently. We have Queen Grace says it's another beautiful day to learn more from our dev Steve as he dissects more on blockchain, the original idea. We really appreciate you, Steve, so much that you may know. We've become crypto pros. Thank you so much for your feedback, Queen Grace. Very, very much appreciated. We appreciate you for your efforts as well. And indeed, you've become a crypto pro. You've recruited so many people. You brought in many people to the community. Very much appreciated your presence, your leadership as well. Then we have Queen Mel says, greetings, poor and family. Greetings, King Steve and Mom. Another Thursday of learning. We are glad to see you, Queen Mel. Glad that you took your time to be part of this session today. Very, very much appreciated, Queen Mel. I hope you and yours are doing great and that you're in good health. Then we have Queen Cynthia saying, greetings, poor and ecosystem, here to be educated and inspired. Glad to hear that, and I hope that you are able to take away something from today's session. We appreciate you very, very much, Queen Cynthia. Always a pleasure seeing you in the community. We have Queen Resego says, good evening, community. A special greetings to our Queen Mom and our King Brother Steve. Today is yet another great session with full of inspiration, education, empowerment. We appreciate your feedback, your presence, your leadership as well, Queen Resego. You're very, very much appreciated and glad that you're able to take away something from today's session. We have Queen Sawari says, hello, Aboran community. Another great moment. Learn more and be inspired. Thank you, King Steve. Well, we appreciate you too, Queen Sawari. Always a pleasure seeing you in the community. We are glad you took your time to be part of this session today. Queen Louisa says, greetings, Puran family. I am here to be educated and inspired always. Thank you, Brother Steve, for this knowledge always. We appreciate you very much, Queen Louisa, for taking your time out of your schedule and being part of these sessions. We appreciate your feedback, your presence, your leadership just as much. We have King Franklin here. Good day, Bora family. I look forward to another informative and life-changing exposition today from our darling brother Steve. We appreciate you, a great King Franklin. We are always pleased and humbled to have you in the community. We hope that you are able to take away something from today's session. Then we have Queen Tomiletso says, greetings, Quran family, our developers, brother Steve and Mama Wino, ready for yet another session where we are educated and empowered. We are very humbled and pleased to see you in the community. Glad you took your time to be part of these sessions. We appreciate you very, very much. Your presence is always highly, highly welcome. Then we have Queen Joko says, greetings, Forum community. Thank you, King Steve, for the lucid explanation and encouragement. We appreciate you very, very much, Queen Joko. Glad that you were able to make it once more today, blessing us with your presence. It's always a pleasure to see you in these community events. We have none other than King Abdullahi himself saying, big up to you, Puran family. Shout out to our fearless leaders, King Stephen, Queen Mother Wino. With the Genius Act on the horizon, we are poised for greatness. There's really not much to add, great King Abdullahi. Well said. This is the first domino piece that is going to literally escalate the domino effect. And it starts, just like you said, with the Genius Act. Because once the Genius Act, which is solely focused on stablecoin, tokenized fiat, literally, it's not going, because it's already a tokenized assets, it's not going to be far from legalizing, or rather creating a framework of clarity through regulations for tokenized assets, such as tokenized stocks, tokenized ETFs, tokenized commodities, real estate, bonds, you name it. These products already exist, however, not in deep liquidity yet due to the lack of clarity, regulatory clarity. But now with the Genius Act in place, and it's just a matter of when and not if it's going to escalate further crypto products, enabling, for example, ETH staking ETFs. Once that is in place, it's going to be just wild, because we already have stable coins on Ethereum. We already have tokenized assets on Ethereum. And now Ethereum being able to be staked to earn yield, it's going to just open doors, floodgates to so much liquidity, so much interactions on chain. And with, like we discussed in our last community event, Ethereum is getting ready to be scaled to be 10 or 100x where it is right now, meaning it's going to be not just faster, but cheaper as well. Now, combine a fast and cheap and secure blockchain layer one that literally is the epitome of decentralization. It's a neutral blockchain that has not shut down since its launch in 2015. It's not shut down for a single second. It's been consistent. And that's the blockchain that asset managers like BlackRock, large financial institutions like JP Morgan and UBS, large governments like Swiss government trust, large payment processors like Visa and MasterCard trust to invest hundreds of millions in infrastructures on it. What does this tell us, community? So well said, King Abdullahi. You're absolutely right. Genius Act is literally the catalyst to so much more to come. Then we have Queen Waigwa says, hello community, Mama Wino and Mr. Steve. I thank God for this important information and empowerment. We appreciate you very much, Queen Waigwa. We are humbled to have you here with us today. We're glad you took your time to be part of this session today. We have Queen D says, happy Thursday, Boran family, Dev Steve, and Queen Mama Wino. Looking forward to today's session of education, information, and inspiration. We appreciate you very much, Quindy. Glad that you're able to make it. Always a pleasure seeing you in the community, and we hope that you're able to take away something from today's session. We have my brother Lincoln says, "Evening, brother Steve and Boron family. Another good day to learn and grow. God bless you all. May you also be blessed, my brother Lincoln. Always a pleasure seeing you in the community. We are glad to have you here today. Glad you took your time to be part of this session." Then we have Queen Marilyn says, "Enjoying the great session. We appreciate your feedback and we are enjoying your presence just as much." Queen Edna says, "Glad to be part of this great community. Thanks, King Steve, for the educative sessions." We appreciate you as much, Queen Edna. We appreciate your time, your presence, consistent presence as well. Glad you're able to make it today. And then we have uh, Queen Lorena Atieno says, "Hello, Steve. I'm glad to be part of this community. May God bless you all." We appreciate you, Queen Lorraine. It's always a pleasure. We're glad. Welcome to the community. We're glad to have you here with us. Then we have Queen Louisa says, "Glad to know that we are on a growing blockchain, Ethereum." Absolutely. This is where DeFi is. This is where stablecoins, real world assets are. This is where infrastructures are built. This is where DeFi is finding its home. And this is where the financial institutions are very eager to build infrastructures. We have Queen Madawino herself says, "Greetings to our amazing Boran family, empowered community." Empower community. Beautifully said. That's absolutely on point. Empowerment is the gift that Boran community shares. We find power in valuing each other's voices. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. This is a platform where we encourage everyone that feels, that feels the urge to share with us whatever they feel comfortable sharing. This is what this platform is about. It's all about exchange of information and growing together. So thank you so much, Mom, for these beautiful, encouraging words. Uh, Queen Mother Window Father says, "The strongest of all warriors are these two, time and patience." Thank you, community, for your patience and commitment. Thank you, Steve, for another informative session. We also thank you so much for your feedback, your encouraging words, Mom. But we also have to give it back to you as well. Leading by example is a badge of honor, and that you've been carrying proudly. And we as a community, there's nothing more beautiful than to see that your leadership by example. So the least we can do is just try to do our parts as well, so that we can at least also chip in the little that we can to play our part and to do our part, right? So we appreciate you very much for your consistency, for always being present and available to all of us, and leading us by example and humility. And we appreciate you very, very much, Mom. Then we have Queen Kirote says, "So proud to be part of Boran community, getting educated as the bull gets fatter." Day by day increases our wealth. This is where we belong. Beautifully said, Queen Kirote. There's really not much to add to this. We have to let it sit like that. You beautifully said that. And we really appreciate you very, very much for your feedback and your presence here with us today. And glad that we all feel at home and comfortable. This just as a testament to all of us, right? It's we always look forward to be part of these sessions. It's an honor to be part of such an amazing community. Queen Beatrice says, "Thank you, Brother Steve. We have been more enlightened about blockchain technology. This was a very informative session. We appreciate you very much, Queen Beatrice. Thank you for your feedback. We're glad that you once more are able to participate and be part of these sessions. It goes a long way." Then we have none other than Queen Sakina says, "The smart money or like the Warren Buffett, moved their money to save assets in this time of volatility. Our ecosystem is a safe haven during these uncertain times. Staking saves us from the wild swings. Beautifully said, Queen Sakina. This is exactly on point. This is back to the basics, back to fundamentals, and this is exactly what's needed. Staking stabilizes ecosystem, stabilizes tokens on top of securing it, bringing security. So staking platforms now in the mid and long term are going to play a major role, especially in the proof of stake platforms and consensus. So staking platforms will be a norm. And the challenges with these staking platforms will be like Queen Sakina just said, which ones are sustainable and efficient, which ones are part of a solution, which ones will be the one issuing sustainable staking distributions without causing inflation, without being part of the problem that the traditional finance is faced with right now. So we appreciate you very much for highlighting this, Queen Sakina, and letting us once more know that staking literally saves us from all this volatility and all these swings by bringing stability. It's very, very important as well. Then we have Queen Patricia says, thank you, Mr. Steve. We thank you as well, Queen Patricia, very, very much. Father says, thank you, Mr. Steve, to remember about my soccer passion. My team is Chelsea. They won their first match. I hope they continue. Thank you. Thank you so much, Queen Patricia, for letting us know who your team is, who you're vouching for. Of course, we are aware of your passion. That's very good to have, and hope that they go as far as they can. And with that, community, I want to thank you all, kings and queens, for your presence. We appreciate you all for taking your time and being part of these sessions. Nowadays, going through these comments alone take a long time. That just shows how we've grown over time and how we've become such an amazing and very engaging community. It's beautiful to see this as we grow. We are very eager to succeed, and we're on the best way to do that. We have everything it takes to achieve that. We have the platform, the mechanisms, the solutions, we have the technology, we have the community, we have the information and knowledge, we have the consistency and the willingness to go above and beyond individually and as a collective. We can't ask for a much better community than what we have. So I want to take my hats on all of you, kings and queens, for all your efforts individually and collectively, for going above and beyond to achieve our wildest dreams. And it's not the time to lean back and be comfortable, because the better we are and the better we're doing, the more eager we should be, the more hungry we should be, the harder we should put in the work. And that's how you dominate and you become a winner takes it all. And that's our aim, community, right? We don't just want to be part of this. We don't want just to settle for good enough, but we want the world and everything that is in it. And we want to dominate. And we do that in a very humble way, in a consistent way, and as a collective. With that said, community, I want to wish the queens an amazing session tomorrow. If you're a queen and you're not part of these sessions, you're literally missing out. Every Friday and Sunday, the queens gather. We all know when queens gather, civilizations are built and decisions are made that will shift the shape of our society. And as we see, our community is literally driven by the queens. And we are where we are today, hands down, arguably because of the queens' effort, collective effort. And also, of course, the kings are also pulling the strings as well. And I thank you, kings, as well, just as much as the queens. With that said, community, stay safe, stay blessed. Let's stay hungry, and let's stay motivated. I want to wish you all a wonderful rest of your week. And till we meet again, community, latest for the rest of us, let's meet again on Saturday in our next community event. For the Queens, have a wonderful, entertaining, encouraging, and uplifting session tomorrow. Till we meet again, community. Stay safe and bye-bye, everyone.